Hello everyone, it's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad, video number 42. This time I want to talk a little bit about soup. You might wonder why. I'll explain a bit later. But when I worked on the gold mines in South Africa, which you've probably, if you watched any of the earlier videos, I spoke about, I used to live in the boarding house. And when I lived in the boarding house for a year and a half, we had soup every day. Now, there's something, didn't matter what kind of soup, vegetable soup, tomato soup, whatever it was green because the chef put green pea powder in to thicken the soup. So all the soup were green. And as far as that's concerned, I didn't like soup eventually. If anybody says, would you like some soup? I would say, no, even though there's some nice soup around. So I'll come back to that a bit later. A couple things happened on the boat this week. Mainly meetings I'd like to share with you. I enjoyed the meetings that I had this week, particularly with the young people on Friday evening. We had two speakers. The first speaker was a 12-year-old young lady from Nepal. This is only her second time, and she gave a speech about a Hindu festival that just finished in Nepal. Very similar, I guess, to Diwali, but it's not exactly the same. They have 5 days where the first day they feed the ravens and the crows for, they have the reasons, but they put out seeds. The second day they celebrate dogs because dogs are some of the, I guess, man's best friend. And they decorate the dogs and they celebrate the dogs that they are so loyal. The third day, I believe, they celebrate cows. The cows are gentle and they give them milk and etc. The third day, they celebrate oxen because they do a lot of manual labor in the agricultural world in Nepal. And the fifth day, they celebrate their brothers and sisters and pay homage to each other. So that was a very interesting concept, which myself and the other young people who were at the meeting enjoyed, different culture. And then we had a second speech from a young lady, 7 years old, who blows my mind every time she speaks. She gave a speech about 3 big holidays in Indonesia. And there were 2 Muslim holidays, which she said what they do with their grandparents, etc. I'm not going to pronounce them properly, but I think the first one was something like Eid al-Fitr, and the second was Eid al-Adha, something to that effect. And she mentions the food and what they did with their grandparents, etc. during those days. And the third one was Christmas, which her family, because she's Muslim, did not celebrate, but there's 23 million Christians in Indonesia. Amongst the 235, I think she said, million Muslims, that being the largest population of any Muslim country in the world, is Indonesia. But I think she said her mother enjoys, there's a lot of bargains when you're shopping during Christmas. So those were 2 outstanding speeches, which I think, I know I enjoyed. And the 7-year-old, she's homeschooled, and I think she's too bright to go to normal school. Her English is impeccable. She is a charming young lady. So that was one meeting I went to. Then on Saturday morning, I had a meeting with some people in North America. We're trying to set up a new public speaking club for AGRA Speakers International in North America. A lot of the people are based in Winnipeg, but we have people from the United States in Cincinnati, and someone from California joined us as well. So that was fascinating. That's ongoing. And then this morning, early on Sunday, at 6 a.m., I joined 6 other ambassadors from Agora, and there was an individual from the United Kingdom, Portugal, Romania, Indonesia, Singapore, and Nepal. And we discussed a 24-hour marathon that's going to be organized with clubs doing presentations in end of January of 2021. So those were some of the meetings that I've had in the last 3 days, which I found very enjoyable. Now, I'll get back to soup. I don't like soup, but there is one soup that I do enjoy. And that, believe it or not, is this one. The Campbell's Chunky Chicken a la King soup. I have no problem. If anybody offers me that soup, I say, yeah, I like it. In fact, I've got a stash of it on the boat. In fact, I think I got too much. I got to start getting rid of it. There was a time when it disappeared off the shelves here during COVID-19, and now it's back on the shelves. So I've been buying it, and I looked and said, I think I've got too much now. I better stop buying anymore and start using it, because there's no way I want to lug this off the boat. So I've got a lot of soup. Now, why do I like that? Well, it reminds me of this particular person on here. Oh, the light is shining on it, but that's this fella, Ron Craig. Now, Ron was a member of the crew. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. But this particular soup, the chicken a la king, was his favorite soup. And he introduced me to it on this boat. And ever since then, that's the one soup that I look forward to. And why am I telling you about soup? Well, one of the reasons I do these is not only to tell my friends and family what I'm doing, because sometimes they say, Fred, what are you doing? We haven't heard from you. Are you still okay? So that's one of the reasons I do this. Second reason is my grandchildren might want to say, hey, my grandpa did strange things, and I was told, write a book. Well, I don't think I'm going to write that book. So what I'm going to do, though, is do some videos, and maybe in the future, some of my grandchildren would say, my grandpa did some interesting or some strange things in his life, including his aversion to soup, but he's got one soup that he likes. So that's what I'm telling you, in case my grandchildren or ever want to know a little bit about the oddities of their grandfather. So with that, I will say adios, au revoir. Hope you have a safe and happy, well, it's a holiday season is coming. So for your family and friends, I'm wishing you lots of love and laughter. Bye for now from Fred and Notes of a Nomad. And I'm going to probably have some soup tonight. Bye for now.